I just got home from the hospital. I actually just finished help deliver a baby, and it was lots of fun, and it's just one of the many exciting things you get to do if you actually do want to pursue a career in medicine. But anyway, it's left me feeling exhausted, so I was just having my snack for the afternoon, but since you're here, why don't we pick up where we left off with the female athlete triad. So, to recap kind of what we've already talked about, here's the triad, and it's the low energy availability, or what used to be called disordered eating, okay, the decreased bone density, and then finally the menstrual dysfunction, or those are the problems with reproduction, okay? And so I'm just going to go through each of these things one at a time and just clarify a little bit further. So to start with the low energy availability, okay, like I said, that's what we used to call disordered eating. And I think this is a tricky subject to talk on because you guys are getting all sorts of mixed messages, right? So as society becomes more obese, there's more pressure on everybody to lose weight, not just you. But then as teenagers, there's a lot of pressure to have a certain physique or to be a certain body type, and I think that can be hard. But I also see that as you become too thin or things like that, society is very critical that you're not too thin either. And so I think that it can be hard to strike the right balance when it comes to eating habits. And so to go further into how it pertains to the triad, you're not taking in enough energy for the amount that you're expending as an athlete is kind of the long and the short of it. And the reason I'm careful not to use the phrase disordered eating is because it sounds an awful lot like eating disorder. And when I was your age, I remember hearing about the triad and hearing the words eating disorder and thinking that, well, I don't have an eating disorder, so I must not have the triad, and kind of writing the entire thing off, okay? And so I would like to clarify that this low energy availability can be the result of purposefully limiting your calories, or it could be inadvertent, okay? So there's two ways you could look at it here, okay? And in terms of the purposefully limiting your calories, I look at that like, first of all, like I already mentioned, you're teenagers and there's a lot of pressure on you to look a certain way and to be a certain way. And so I think for some people it's just a very difficult thing to strike that balance. And so how that shows up is in terms of just not eating enough calories or purposefully trying to burn off too many calories, okay? And it's a lot of pressure to put on yourself to lose weight, okay? I also think that studies have shown that certain sports also kind of lead toward these disordered eating habits, okay? So sports that are aesthetic, we'll say, sports where it really depends how the overall sport looks. So things like dance, ballet, diving, gymnastics, so things that you're there to watch. Those sports have much pressure on them to maintain a lean physique, and so some of these disordered eating habits are prevalent in those sports, as well as sports where there is a impetus to be lean. So endurance sports, sports where it's sort of celebrated to be lighter, and that would be things like running or cross-country skiing or biking and things like that, okay? And so athletes in these aesthetic sports and in these lean sports also might find themselves having pressure either from within or from outside to lose weight or to have a certain body habitus, okay? So that's one way you might wind up with low energy availability, is that you are purposefully either eating too few calories or you're expending too much energy, okay? But on the flip side, you might just be trucking along, not really feeling those pressures, okay? But you're busy people, say you wake up late and you don't have time to eat breakfast before you go to school in the morning, okay? And then you scarf down a piece of pizza at lunch, and then you go to practice and have this high intensity workout, and then you come home and again you don't have very much time to eat, so you just scarf something down and get to your homework, okay, or to your other extracurricular activities. You know, you might just not have the appetite or the time to meet the demands that are placed on you, okay, energetically speaking, okay? So you might just not be taking in the right amount of calories on accident. And either way, it's the same problem, okay? So whether it's on purpose or on accident, it's still a problem either way. And so I don't want to separate out the two too much, okay? And so I leave that at the top of the pyramid because it's basically this low energy availability that leads kind of into the other components of the triangle, okay?